For the second time in nearly 14 years, a disgraced former coach for the Blackhawks is at the center of a sexual abuse lawsuit. This new lawsuit alleges video coordinator Brad Aldrich groomed, harassed, threatened, and assaulted the player known only as John Doe. Joining us to explain this lawsuit is attorney Tony Romanucci, and we want to thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Anita.
Appreciate your time. Let's talk through this here because we'd like you to tell us a little bit more. There are allegations regarding a coach, but then also the team itself.
Absolutely. What this case is really about is the Blackhawks organization. Clearly it has to do with the abuser here, Brad Aldrich, but what we're really looking at here is the conduct of the Blackhawks organization. Institutional negligence, one that we say was corrupt and immoral with what they did once they knew about these allegations. We're saying that not only did they not do the right thing by firing Brad Aldrich, they actually covered it up. They let him resign and they wanted this to go away quietly, but it didn't, because eventually, about 2 years ago, we know that Jenner and Block came out with a report that detailed all these allegations from the Stanley Cup run from 2010, and we knew that the Blackhawks knew about what was happening, and they let Brad Aldrich resign from the organization as opposed to firing him and going public. And what wound up happening? Reprehensible conduct. Brad Aldrich went on to abuse more individuals, eventually was caught, became a convicted felon, and now is a registered sex offender.
And so obviously this is still all playing out here. We're getting more details as the years go on. How does the organization handle it from here?
Well, one thing we would have expected from the Blackhawks organization once they did learn about the lawsuit was hopefully say something about the player, John Doe himself. Instead, we heard about the organization again, very self-centric. We were hoping to hear back something about, how they felt empathy or condolences and that they were sorry for what happened. Instead, we heard about what steps they're taking going forward. But clearly, there were steps that they didn't take in the past that caused our client very serious harm.
Is that possibly them trying to skirt around legal culpability?
Well, it's going to be hard for them to do that because they have acknowledged these abuses. So maybe that is their attempt just now to skirt the issue somewhat. But they're going to have a very difficult time skirting liability.
Okay, let's talk about another case that so many people are watching here. The father of the alleged Highland Park parade shooter, of course, was in court yesterday. He's now going to jail for 60 days and a plea deal. He also faces 2 years probation, 100 hours of community service. When you think about what took place, 60 days in jail doesn't sound like much, but this is a major precedent.
So what we have to do here, Anita, is really do a balancing test. 60 days in jail on its face does not sound like a lot. However, and I know that there's controversy here, 60 days in jail for a father who did not have anything to do with the shooting itself, but acknowledged that his son could own a gun, that's pretty serious. It puts a lot of parents on notice that I do have responsibility for my adult children. Just because they've turned 18 doesn't mean that you're not responsible for them. So I think it sends a very loud message. I know that there are a lot of people that feel that there should be more jail time. Maybe I don't disagree with that. However, a balance test really shows that this is significant.
Yeah, his son had already expressed interest in harming himself and others, so that was certainly a concern there. Thank you so much for being on the show. We hope to have you back as we discuss other cases in the future.
Thank you, Anita. Have a good day.